just before the dazzling premiere night of our flagship show Jubilee, Maitri decided to do quick takes with the incredible women present to attend the big night. Veteran stars of the golden era of cinema, Asha Parekh, Tanuja, the two actors from the series Aditi Rao Hydari, Vamika Gabbi, series producer Deepa Motwane and head of India Originals Prime Video Aparna Purohit weighed in on some important logistical and operational aspects women working in the industry grapple with. Asha ji, Rajesh Khanna did, I think, his first or second film with you. Second film with you. And Mr. Bachchan did his first film with you, Tanuja ji. I would like to put it this way because both of you were very established at that point of time that you launched two superstars into the industry. After a certain point of time, what started to happen was that, of course, you pivoted. You know, you started to do a lot more character roles and everything. But the people who were heroes at one point of time, they still did those roles. They got those roles. What did you feel at that point of time?
Nothing.
Nothing? It was okay?
It was okay. Well, I didn't feel anything about it.
No, it's
if
just
the heroes are heroes, I mean, if the audience wants to see them as heroes, they're most welcome. I mean,
yeah,
but,
because a woman in those days, it was that if they got married, the career was finished.
Yeah.
Now it is not so.
Not so.
So, I mean, the heroes may be 50 years or 55 years, they're working with 20-year-old. So that's acceptable.
Till today.
Yeah, today I'm talking of, it's acceptable.
So, seriously, in your wisdom and in your experience, tell us, because for us this is very important because we are carrying the baton forward. You know, our generation of people, we really want to know that, is it because it's the audience or is it because that narrative has been created?
These are rules that have been made, okay? It's up to us. What is important, at least that is what I feel personally, and looking at my own life, I decided that, all right, I'm not going to be number one or number two or whatever, but I will make my place in this world. And I did.
Because you're a badass rule breaker, you know that.
That's true. Inspirational.
You know that we look at you like that, don't you?
No, please. I have never broken a rule in my life. I promise you. Because I make the rules. Huh?
Lovely. But now may I ask a question?
Yes.
You know, one day you're a superstar, and another day the roles that were coming to you stop coming to you. But your male co-stars continue to get those interesting parts. How did it feel?
What is there to feel?
What is there to feel?
Exactly.
I personally feel, as I told you, that the hero's life is about 50, 55 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? Today, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, at this age also,
Still a hero.
people are writing
Getting
good
roles for
roles, writing roles for them. Why aren't people writing roles for us? We also should be getting some roles which are important to the film. No, that's not there. Either we are playing mother or we are playing a sister. Who's interested?
A Masi, grandmother.
Yeah.
I played grandmother.
I'm not interested.
In this time, it is very important for our women to understand that you have to tell yourself that you are possible. You know, you can't say to yourself, I'm impossible. No, I am possible.
Could you talk about money easily to your
Money?
producers? Like how much should get
No,
paid?
I'm very bad with money. My mother used to
Yeah,
talk.
my mother too.
Yeah, and
I don't really never talk.
after she and my father both passed away, I had to take things in my hand.
Were the heroes of that time and the heroines, were they getting paid almost equal? Would you know?
Payment was always a problem.
Always a problem.
Always a problem.
Always a problem.
Previously and even now.
Yeah.
It is
absolutely.
always the men
I
standing
know why.
up for money.
Why? I want to know why.
Why?
I mean, you guys are supposed to be the highest paid actors of that
those
time.
times,
Of
yeah.
those times. And you are also known as the Jubilee star. So I'm just wondering that when that happens, over the years, we've not managed to fix this at all.
Even Hollywood has not been able to do it. They are also going through the same thing.
Going through the same thing, yes.
But what do you think has caused this? Is it because of the fact that all the decision makers at that point of time, and since a long time, it's a male-dominated
Yes, it is.
industry.
Yes.
Because
And
we
they're the
allowed
ones
it to
who
be
managed
so.
to make the rules, right?
But that's what exactly. But this is
I
what I'm
agree with
saying. You know, it's like we can't blame the guys. How can you blame them? We allowed them to do so. We gave them permission to rule.
I mean, and not in our field, in every field
Every
you see.
field, every field.
And now when I see women becoming CEOs and
I
all
think
that,
that's
I
wonderful.
feel great.
I also feel very good.
really feel
Aparna?
great. I really feel great.
What women there are today in today's youngsters. I'm talking about my daughter's age group. And they are heads of the conglomerates. They handle all the money, the transactions, everything. She handles everything. It's like this. You know, she has all the strings in her hand. And that's wonderful, I think. I think it's wonderful. Congratulations.
Today, there are so many conversations around women. Thank God for that. There are so many safe spaces that are being created. There is so much being said about diversity, so much being said about equality. At the time that you started working, were there networks like this that existed? Was there something where you could share experiences?
No, there was nothing like this. There was nothing. This is an amazing opportunity for any woman who wants to, come across either the film industry or any other form of work as such. And for a woman to be, accepted to say, okay, yes, it's great, come, join us.
Yes, right now the women have got more opportunities to get into, like, I would say, behind the camera. I mean, you're having women cameramen, you're having women who are directing, and they have made a name for themselves. So, I mean, I'm feeling very proud about it right now.
There are certain things which are a common thread running over the last 7 decades. There is a very popular actor in Malayalam industry called Parvati, and she's a superstar. And she said that, when she started out her career, she was 5 years down the line, her nickname was Bathroom Parvati. Because she used to go and talk to everybody in production and say that there are not proper sanitation facilities which are available.
Yes.
And I went through one interview of yours where you did say that, these logistical problems existed at that point of time.
Absolutely.
Would you like to speak to that in terms of the kind of gaps and challenges that were there?
I think that at that time we used to feel shy to say, that there are no bathrooms. I mean, going to the studio and working, and I think modern studios just had one bathroom.
For everybody.
For everybody.
And it was
horrible. Horrible. So, I mean, we used to sit from morning till evening not going to the bathroom.
The kind of freedom that the women have today about being able to discuss the toiletry functions or whatever it is that they don't have, and they say, okay, please build some bathroom. We couldn't do that.
But is it because there weren't enough women on sets?
No, it wasn't a question of not having enough women. In our time, the women, that was the way we were taught to be. That was the way we were taught to be, that you don't talk. I mean,
now you have vanity vans.
Exactly.
So even if you have 15 girls working in the crew, it doesn't matter. But those girls would have difficulty because they wouldn't have a toilet.
Exactly.
Still, right now also, the studios don't have good toilets.
But ma'am, I have a little anecdote. I was once working as an assistant director on a film, and the actress of the film and me, we were the only 2 women. And we were shooting in a remote little village outside of Allahabad. And we couldn't take the vanity vans there. It was a very small independent film being shot on a shoestring budget. And when we reached there, and I asked the production team, where is she going to change, the actress? And there are no bathrooms. And they said, the fields are there, and anyway, there's nobody inside. You can just go anywhere. But the neighborhood villages got a whiff of the fact that there is a shoot going to happen. So in 2 hours, there were truckloads of people who arrived, and there was no place for anyone to go anywhere. And it was excruciating because where would you go? You know, you're running around. There was absolutely no place. And when she had to change, the actress, they said, okay, we'll just call two men, because they were not women, you know, who would hold a sari and she'd change behind that. And we went like that for the whole day. And at the end of the day, I put my foot down and I said, till you organize a mobile toilet and a place for her to change, we're not coming on sets. And we were, of course, labeled belligerent, and we were told, you know, you're a nuisance, and that's why we don't bring women for outdoors.
Oh,
but
what?
But they had to finally organize.
But
You know,
this
you
sort of
have
a
to
problem is there.
I know there is definitely this problem.
Because, I mean, sanitation should be the priority of every place, I would say.
Deepa ma'am, when we were chatting earlier, you told me that, you know, even when you decided to go into line production, there were some self-censoring things that you did because you knew your personality was a certain way, that things will not get accepted. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that time and now?
I was an outsider coming into this industry. And yes, I did have to self-censor because I was a single mother. I smoked, I drank, I was the proverbial stereotype. So yes, I had to be very careful where I worked, because I had to be careful which job offers I took up. And I was desperate for work, but I had to refuse work quite often because I felt this was not a safe environment for me. You know, it was different for you, Tanuja ji and Asha ji, because you had your pedigree. I was an outsider coming in, you know, so I had to protect myself, you know, in many ways. But having been through that experience, having had to do that, then I was much more sensitive to women's needs, like, you know, we talked about hygiene, we talked, about safety for women, you know, when they pack up late night, or even the costume people who have to go down at night, it should be somewhere convenient where it's lighted and, you know, the accessible area where it's safe for them.
You know, people turn around and till today say that, you know, late night hours are there, long working hours are there, we prefer a boy. And I was like, why would you prefer a boy? Why are you not providing safe passage to women? Because women are going to stay.
Exactly.
They will also do long hours. They will also stick around. They will also do exacting
so provide
stuff.
the safety for them.
You have to provide safety for them because the world not being safe is not on my shoulders. So I want to know from Aparna as to what are the kind of things that you're trying to put into place, because I know this is not going to change overnight, right? But what are the kind of things that you're putting into place to make sure that, you know, the things that you want to see change?
I mean, I feel that today we have a seat at the table because of, you know, incredible women like Deepa ma'am and Asha ma'am and Tanuja ma'am. They've really opened the doors for us, you know. And if there is a strong woman at the helm of affairs like Deepa ma'am, half the battle is won. You know, she will ensure that there is diversity, there is equity, and there is inclusion. That's it. You just need to have strong women at the helm of affairs.
Within your ambit of power, now that you've worked for X number of years, have you done anything to kind of, you know, affect any kind of change that you feel is very necessary in your environment?
When I came in, I realized that there were so many things that were lacking as far as women were concerned. You know, like as we talked about, toilets, safety, sexual harassment. I mean, lots of things. Processes weren't there. I remember sitting once, in one safe producer's office, and Shekhar Kapoor walked in and he asked me, what are you doing? And I was trying to make a call sheet or something, but there was no processes. Nobody had those things. And he actually laughed and he said, you really think that's going to work? I said, but somebody's going to have to start making these processes work. These systems work. And I think we brought in a lot of systems which sort of brought some order out of chaos.
On set, I've always made sure that especially female ADs, and I'm sorry I'm making a distinction, but it is important, female ADs, costume stylists, and especially my team and people who work with me, I always make sure that they have a place in my van, that I always have food for them, that I always have like sanitary pads, etc. for them, and they are allowed to use the extra bathroom in my van, and I make sure of it. You know, so I really think it's so important to stand up for each other every day on
Definitely.
set.
I also I always tell my boy कि
both of you.
any girl किसी को भी use करना है तो कभी भी मना नहीं, like again sorry that I make that distinction of girls only, but if any girl wants to use it, like, you'll never ask me, just like let them. And I think that's how we can help each other.
I mean, a film set should be fun. It should be a safe place and a fun place to be, and somewhere you want to go. You know, every
Then I'm
day.
going on set today.
I'm going on set today.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Yeah.
There is a gender gap. Intersectionality का भी gap है, gender का भी gap है. The thing is कि जब हम इसके बारे में बात करते हैं, I don't know whether you've ever observed this, कि हमें एक preamble देना पड़ता है कि we are not hating on the men. We are feminist, but we include everybody. क्यों तो हमारी गिनती इतनी कम है कि for us to even have a equal playing field, we need to up the numbers by 30% to 40% to stop making that distinction. The only reason I wanted to bring this in is because any forum that I go to, I have to always start the conversation by saying that, I love men and I feel everyone is equal.
I have never, in my entire life, even when I was a child, made this thing about explaining why I am saying this to this person.
Lovely.
And especially the man, the boys that I knew, the men that I knew. I've never explained myself. This is the way I am. This is
I
the way.
agree with you.
And you know what is important for all us women to understand is that you don't have to make an excuse where men are concerned. It is very important that you say what you have to say, and don't look at the, don't get
Defensive. Don't get defensive.
Don't get defensive.
Don't be on the back foot.
If you come from the fact that you are sure that this guy in front of you is going to understand what you are saying, how can you go wrong? You can't.
I love it. Giving them equal
With us,
space.
You're as intelligent as us.
It's a good last stage.
Yes.
Equal status.
We are giving them the equal space.
I love that.
Aparna, any last words before
I mean,
we...
I feel so fortunate, and this is what we want to create, these safe spaces where all kinds of conversations can happen, where everyone has a voice, everyone has an agency, where we can share our challenges, where we can share our aspirations, our dreams. We have the sisterhood, from 50 years ago, from 70 years ago to now. Like, everyone's together on the same level, talking, discussing, having the same voice. That, and of course, it's also very important to increase the numbers, and we are working towards ensuring that there are at least 30% women who are HODs on all of our shows. Like I mentioned the last time, it's a tall order, but we'll get there. We're working towards it.
So thank you so much for joining me for this chat.
Thank you.
Truly enriching, and what an interesting conversation today. I think we've come away with a lot of perspective, and we're going to go back happy.